Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Asim Kaim Khani. Time to exercise that brain. Today we are commencing a new topic that holds significant importance for the upcoming CAI exam. Mastering this topic is likely to result in a substantial improvement, potentially earning you at least 14% marks in the final examination. In this video, you will learn several key concepts, including domain and range, one-to-one functions, finding the inverse of a function, and understanding the graphical representation of both the function and its inverse. So a function has domain, range, and its type. Values of x is basically horizontal stretch and values of y is vertical stretch. Typically, they tend to present only three types of questions over 90% of the time. And these three types of questions are linear functions, quadratic functions, and rational functions. Let's explore a few examples from previous papers for reference. For example, this is quadratic function, this is a linear function, and in this exam paper you have rational function, again quadratic and linear function, some more quadratic function, this is linear and a rational function. Let's learn how to solve these different types of questions. This is March 2023. This is question number 9 and its first part is state the range of f. So basically there are two different ways. First is you can draw it on a graph and then you can find its range. This is your domain, and if for x is equal to -1, the value of y is -1. Similarly, any value which is less than -1 will give you any value which is around -2 on y-axis. That means when x is less than or equal to -1, you will get y, which is also called range, less than or equal to -1. But of course, you cannot draw it in exam. So we will discuss another way. From this graph, you can clearly find the domain and range. But definitely there is another easy way and we will talk about that. For example, if you look at this function and we can write this in perfect square form. And what is that? You can write -3 as it is. And inside the parentheses, you can write x minus 0 whole squared plus 2. Now this 0 and 2 is your turning point and -3 will tell you the shape of the graph. For example, if you have -3, your graph is like this, which is sad face or concave down. But if you, on the other hand, if you have positive, then you will get smiley face. And 0, 2 will give you the turning point. And this is also called stationary point or the maximum point. That depends the negative sign outside. For example, if you have a graph like this, and this is the value on x-axis, which is -1, when you plot this value or when you plug this value in the original function, you will get the corresponding value, and that is -1, because -3 plus 2 will give you -1. That is the value of y, and that is also the domain. Since x is less than or equal to -1, so you will get values, and these values are less than or equal to -1. That means your range is less than or equal to -1. So you can write in this way: f of x is less than or equal to -1. And that is your final answer. It's your choice. You can also write it range. And you will get 1 mark for this. Typically, if you have 1 mark, that means you have 90 seconds to complete that question. So the next part of this question is to find inverse of a function. And that is also very easy to do. First of all, we are going to write the original function, which is minus 3x squared plus 2. Now you will let f of x equal to y. And then you will try to make x the subject of this equation. When we say x the subject of the equation, that means x should be on left hand side and everything else should be on right hand side. So I'm going to plug y in the original function. Now we will subtract 2, and this is y minus 2, which is minus 3x squared. In next step, you can divide both sides by minus 3, and that will give you the value of x squared. So it is y minus 2 over minus 3, which is equal to x squared. If you write side by side, if you write x square on your left hand side and the function on your right hand side, you can do without changing the sign. So it is y minus 2 over minus 3. Next, we want to change the sign. So in that case, you will multiply numerator and denominator by minus 1. So it is x squared is equal to minus y plus 2 over 3, because we have multiplied by a negative number. So now you can take square root on both sides. When you take square root, you write plus or minus sign on your right hand side. But I will let you know which sign you have to choose. So x is equal to plus or minus square root 2 minus y over 3. Now we have to choose one sign. We can write plus or minus, and that sign depends on the domain and range. For example, if your range is less than or equal to minus 1, that means you are going to write negative sign here. So your range is less than or equal to minus 1, and over here you will also write a negative sign outside this radical sign. So it is going to be x is equal to minus square root 2 minus y over 3. Or the last step is you can replace x by f inverse of x, and similarly you can replace y by x, and that is your inverse of a function. So C part of this question is to find composite function, and then you will form the equation, and at the end you will be able to solve that equation. So first of all, you need to understand fg of x or fg, they are the same and they have the same meaning. That means you are going to plug g in f. You will plug this function where you have x in f of x. So I'm going to plug this function in f of x, and there is whole square, and there is plus 2 at the end. Write this plus 2 as it is, plus sign as it is, minus 3 outside the parenthesis as it is. So I just plug the function over here. So now you will apply algebraic identity. If you have minus a minus b whole squared or a plus b whole squared, in this case, everything will be positive like this. So I'm going to apply this algebraic identity over here. Minus 3 outside the parentheses, so it will be positive x power 4 plus 2x squared plus 1 and plus 2 at the end. Now you can multiply minus 3 inside the parentheses. That means you are going to change the sign inside, and plus 2 as it is. Now if you solve it further, you will get minus 3x power 4 minus 6x squared minus 1. And now we are going to do the same thing in g of x. But this time you will plug f of x in g. G f of x or gf, they're the same. Sometimes they write gf or gf of x. So don't get confused, they are the same. Now you will plug f in g. So you will write minus parenthesis and the whole function f inside the parenthesis whole squared minus 1. This negative sign as it is and the outer sign as it is, and you have plugged this function in G. Next, we are going to apply algebraic identity. For example, if you have minus a minus b whole squared, everything will be positive. But if it is minus a plus b whole squared, then it is a minus b whole square. They are the same. So it is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So if you have only one negative sign, you are going to write negative sign here. So it is 12x squared plus 4 and minus 1 as it is at the end. Again, you will open the parenthesis. There is a negative sign. That means you are going to change the sign inside the parenthesis. So it is minus 9x power 4 plus 12x squared minus 4 minus 1. So when you simplify it further, you will get this equation. This is called quartic equation because its power is 4. Now we have fg and gf. So we are going to plug both of these these composite function in the equation, and then we will solve them. So I'm going to plug these equation in the original function. This is minus 3x power 4 minus 6x squared minus 1. And there is a negative sign. That's why I'm writing parenthesis, because I will open the parenthesis in the next step and I will change the sign. So minus 5 and plus 8 as it is, which is equal to 0. So this function is written first, and the second function is written here. And there is plus 8 at the end, and there is a negative sign in between, and this whole thing equal to 0. Now we will first open the parenthesis. This is minus 6x squared minus 1, and we will again change the sign inside the parenthesis. When you remove parenthesis and there is a negative sign, you have to change the sign inside. If you do further simplification, for example, you have minus 3x power 4 and 9x power 4. So it becomes 6x power 4. And the rest will be minus 18x squared, because minus 6x squared minus 12x squared will give you minus 18. So 8 plus 5 is 13. And you have minus 1. So it is 13 minus 1, which is 12. So I'm going to write plus 12 at the end. And this whole thing equal to 0. Now you can take 6 common, but it's your choice. You can apply you can use middle term split method, or you can take 6 common. So when you divide both sides by 6, you will get x power 4 minus 2x squared plus 2. And you can use middle term split method like this. So you can take x squared common, and again I skip one step, but if you want to do, you can do that. And whenever the product of two terms equal to 0, you will use zero factor property. That means you will put both of them equal to 0. So it is x squared is equal to 1 or x squared is equal to 2. Now you can take square root and you will write plus or minus sign like so. But you will write only plus or minus sign over here. It depends on the domain. See, x was less than or equal to minus 1. So now I am going to write x is equal to minus 1. And similarly, I will write x is equal to minus under root 2. If you have found this content helpful and informative, and you are eager for more in the future, I encourage you to show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel. By doing so, you'll stay updated with regular content and receive new videos directly on your home screen. Thank you very much.